You're probably about to buy a BenQ EX3203R monitor. /N, it promises a 32-inch curved screen, 1440p Quad HD resolution, and a smooth 144 Hz refresh rate, all for a price that seems too good to be true. /N, but here's what surprised me. After testing it for weeks, I discovered this isn't just a monitor. /N, it's actually a Trojan horse. /N, therefore, watch every second of this review before you click buy. /N, for the best price. Click the link in the description. /N, let's start with the box. /N, it's heavy. /N, that's good. /N, a lightweight monitor is like a lightweight meal, often disappointing. /N, inside you find the panel, a sturdy stand, and the cables. /N, setup is simple. Click the stand into the VESA mount and plug it in. /N, but this ease is deceptive. /N, because the moment you power it on, you're faced with its first and biggest trick. /N, that's the Trojan horse moment. /N, the BenQ EX3203R doesn't just want to be your monitor. /N, it wants to be your primary source of entertainment. /N, it's a high-refresh gaming monitor disguised as a productivity powerhouse. /N, and that, my friends, is where the conflict begins. /N, let's dive into its looks. /N, the design is fine. /N, it's a black plastic bezel that's reasonably thin on three sides, with a thicker chin at the bottom featuring a subtle BenQ logo. /N, from the front, it's clean and professional. /N, but turn it around, and it looks like it got its backside kicked by a minimalist designer. /N, it's got these weird textured lines and a red accent ring that screams gaming in a library voice. /N, therefore, it won't win design awards, but it won't offend your desk either. /N, the stand offers tilt and height adjustment, which is monitor that doesn't move is like a stubborn friend. It forces you to accommodate it. /N, now, the star of the show, that 31.5-inch VA panel with a 1800R curve. /N, this is the gateway drug. /N, the curve is subtle but effective. /N, it wraps around your vision just enough to feel immersive without feeling like you're looking through a fishbowl. /N, I'll admit, I was skeptical of curves for productivity, but here's the twist. For spreadsheets and documents, it actually reduces eye strain by keeping the edges equidistant. /N, it's like a hug for your eyeballs. /N, a very polite, non-sweaty hug. /N, but. /N, there's always a but. /N, the panel is VA, not. You get incredible contrast ratios, deep, inky blacks that make movies look phenomenal. /N, colors pop with the HDR support. /N, seriously, watching a dark scene in a film on this is a revelation. /N, however, NVA panels have a notorious weakness, viewing angles and color shift. /N, if you lean too far to the side, the colors can wash out. /N, it's not a deal-breaker for a solo user, but it's the monitor politely telling your curious roommate to go back to their seat. /N, now, let's talk pixels. /N, 2560 x 1440 resolution on a 32-inch screen. /N, this is the sweet spot. /N, it's sharp enough that text is crisp and images are detailed, but not so high-res that your graphics card cries for mercy trying to push 144 frames per second in games. /N, the pixel density is perfect. /N, but what about that 144 Hz refresh rate? /N, this is where the monitor's true identity starts to slip its mask. /N, for work, 60 Hz is fine. N, 144 Hz is pure, unadulterated luxury. N, scrolling is buttery. N, moving windows around feels like they're gliding on air. N, it's a productivity enhancer you never knew you needed. N, it's like upgrading from a bicycle to a teleportation device for your cursor. N, however, for gaming, this is the main event. N, switch on FreeSync Premium. It's G-Sync compatible too. Fire up a fast-paced title, and the smoothness is transformative. N, tearing and stuttering vanish. N, it feels responsive and clean. N, but, and this is a crucial but for competitive gamers, the response time is listed at 4 ms. N, in practice, With VA panels, you can sometimes see slight smearing in very dark scenes during fast motion. \n it's not esports level perfection. \n therefore, if you're a hardcore FPS player chasing every millisecond, look at a dedicated TN or fast IPS panel. \n, but if you're a gamer who also watches movies and works, this is a spectacular jack of all trades. \n let's talk ports. \n this is where the BenQ EX3203R gets interesting. \n it has two HDMI 2.0 ports, a DisplayPort, a USB-C port with 60W of power delivery, and even a headphone jack. \n that USB-C is a game changer. \n one cable from a modern laptop delivers video, audio, data, and power. \n it's a clean desk dream. \n but here's the contrarian snapback. That USB-C port doesn't support video input from the monitor's built-in USB hub. \n so you can't plug your peripherals into the monitor and have them connect via USB-C. \n it's a small thing, but it shows where corners were cut. \n now, picture quality. \n out of the box. It's decent \n but you must calibrate it. \n the standard mode is a bit cold. \n I spent an hour with a colorimeter and the difference was night and day. \n the colors became richer, the whites warmer. \n it went from looking good to looking wow. \n therefore, don't skip this step. \n find a calibration guide online, it's worth it. \n what about HDR? \n it supports HDR10. \n but let's be real, this isn't HDR 1000 level brightness. \n it's an HDR effect. \n it improves contrast in supported games and movies, but don't expect your retinas to be seared. \n it's more like HDR light. \n a nice bonus, not a primary feature. \n let's discuss the speakers. \n they exist. \n they are two 2-watt speakers. \n they are. There, \n for system sounds or a quick YouTube video, they're fine. \n but for anything else, you'll want headphones or external speakers. \n they sound like someone is playing music politely from another room. Through a wall. \n a very thick wall. \n the on-screen display AST is controlled by a little joystick on the back. \n it's intuitive and quick to navigate. \n no more fumbling with tiny buttons. \n you can tweak color settings, switch HDR on and off, and choose from different picture modes. \n but the OSD software for Windows is clunky. \n it feels like software from 2008. \n therefore, I just used the joystick. \n so, is it worth it? \n let's break down the ideal user. \n you are someone who wants one monitor to rule them all. \n you game, but you're not a professional esports athlete. \n you watch movies and want them to look cinematic. \n you work from home and need screen real estate and comfort. \n if that's you, the BenQ EX3203R is a compelling, almost perfect choice. \n but \n if you are a pure, color-accurate professional like a video editor or graphic designer, you need an IPS panel. \n if you are a purely competitive esports gamer, you need a faster TN panel. \n this monitor is for the hybrid user. \n the person who does everything. \n it's the Swiss Army knife of 32-inch monitors. \n it won't be the absolute best at any one thing, but it's remarkably good at almost everything. \n therefore, my final verdict. \n the BenQ EX3203R is a fantastic value. \n it delivers a stunning, immersive curved screen, a buttery smooth high refresh rate, and versatile connectivity, all for a price that undercuts many competitors. \n the compromises. The VA panel's slight motion smearing, the mediocre speakers, the occasional software quirk, are easy to forgive given the overall package. \n it's the monitor that finally convinced me to get rid of my dual-screen setup. \n one screen to do it all. \n just remember, it's a gateway drug to high refresh rates. \n once you go 144 Hz, you can't go back. \n it's like trying to go back to dial-up internet after knowing broadband. N you just sit there, waiting, wondering what you did to deserve this. N so, should you buy it? N if your needs are hybrid, absolutely. N it's a stellar all-rounder. N but know its limits. N it's a brilliant jack-of-all-trades, master of, well, being really good at a lot of things. N for the absolute best price on Amazon right now. Click the link in the description below.